everybody, and welcome to Blades and Blasters. I am your GM today, Prankster, and today I have joined with me several players, and I'm going to ask all of them to just say hi, just so it's easier to recognize our voices. Sim. Okay, we'll come back to Sim. Bees.
Hi. I think Sim may have forgotten his mute button.
That's all right. Sim.
Hey.
Wanderer.
Hi.
And Zypher.
Hello.
So today we're going to be continuing our campaign with the Pathfinder 2 universe as we continue our campaign called Liberty's Bulwark. So with that said, let's go ahead and jump right in. After the battle with the bandits, the party buried the dead. Rigson offered up prayers for the fallen as they laid the dead to rest. Lunch afterwards was a solemn affair while sitting next to the running river they sought to cross. After the wagon was loaded back up with their equipment and people, the party forded the river and continued to make their way to Acisazi. They stayed next to the river for as long as they could, getting out to stretch intermittently. It wouldn't be more than a day's travel before they arrived. As you envision this in your mind, you can see the wagon kind of going along a path, and perhaps it zooms into Rigson, right into his eyes. He's looking out there pensively. Camera perhaps like zooms in right into his eye, right through the pupil. We see a new scene. We see the city of Agorian. Agorian is the capital of Cheliax. A city with massive Gothic architecture and huge districts filled with the poor and impoverished. Perhaps you see and hear a roar and a yell in the backgrounds, and you would know that that's the pits where they cause people to go and fight. Usually they're folks who are enslaved some way or another. But as the camera kind of like winds through the various streets and the rain is kind of coming down and the like, we make our way up into kind of a more middle class, upper middle class district. It's clear the streets here are much cleaner, less dirty. Folks are making their way to and fro. And we come into the young house, or not the young house. We come into a decently sized home. A man with blonde hair and just shining, resplendent plate mail opens up the door and makes his way in. Closes the door behind him, is greeted by his wife, who he embraces, giving a big hug and a kiss on the cheek. He takes a big, deep breath, and she looks up at him. Running down the stairs is a boy who actually looks a lot like this man. He is so happy to see that his father is home, and he runs up and he embraces him. And he just yells, "Oh, Rigson, my boy, it's so good to see you."
Father, you're back.
Yes, it's been another day. Making certain that this place is safe and that the laws are enforced. How was your day, my boy?
It was filled with adventure, Father. In the backyard, I was running around, fighting like you do, sending back evil.
My boy. I am proud of you. Tell me. And he kind of like, you could see him kind of like squat down. His wife is running into the kitchen and taking care of all the various affairs, maybe pulling dinner out and pouring something from a pitcher. Like her husband, she also has kind of long blonde hair and blue eyes, and she's chuckling as she's listening to this conversation. The man squats down, holding his son by the waist, looking at him just eye level, beaming. Tell me about your adventure, son.
There was these bad men, and they were trying to kidnap these poor folk who were on this road to see the temple of Yomadai, and I stopped them. I fought with them. I raised my shield high, and I called out to Yomadai to bless me, to bless my sword. And he kind of from the back he pulls out what looks like a really small wooden sword that's carved. To an adult it would just look more like a dagger, but to him it's a full size long sword. And then he kind of steps back and flourishes the sword. I fought them left, right, and he kind of raises his shield, and the shield's it's more like a small barrel cover that he's holding, and he's kind of zigging, zagging in front of his father, moving the shield up, moving the sword around. To fight for the good, like you said, Father, to fight for those who cannot fight for themselves.
You're right. Excellent. May Yomadai fill you with zeal, my son, to go out in her name, to make certain that this place is safe, that the laws are enforced, and that may her ever blessed name always come from your lips, with both a shout and a sound of praise. And he kind of like slaps you on the back, and maybe like kind of gives you like just like a very like loving little headlock, and gives you kind of a bit of a noogie and lets you go.
And then, yes, Father, I shall vanquish them all. None shall survive those who stand up against Yomadai. And with that, he kind of screams and charges out through the back door, back in the backyard, fighting some imagined wrongdoers.
Yeah, the father kind of like stands up and looks on his son just like very lovingly and kind of filled with pride as he turns back towards the kitchen, and the mom's kind of putting things out on the table, and she looks at him. The mother looks at the father and just says, he's going to follow in your footsteps. And the father very proudly kind of like looks at the sword on his kind of in the frog and the sheath on his belt, and kind of like pulls it out. You can see him like staring directly at the sword as if it's like standing up, pointing exactly upwards from his hand. And he just says, I hope he does. And he kind of like turns it sideways so that you can just see the side of the blade, as almost as if it's splitting his face in half, just from like where the camera is pointed at him. And it kind of fades out, and we see almost that same face, although some different features, maybe some stress lines on a Rigzin, as he's just pensively looking out the window. You all are on your way to Acisazi, where you have heard of reports of possible Asmodeus worship, which isn't necessarily outlawed in Ravenel, but it's highly frowned upon because the Church of Asmodeus and Cheliax are inextricably linked, bringing about slavery, harsh laws, as well as bringing about the system that kind of led to the city of Cantargo and the greater kind of nation of Ravenel that surrounded it to essentially be forcibly vassalized. It wasn't until a contract was found that y'all were freed, nonetheless, that Kantarga was freed. But nonetheless, it still kind of sits in the back of your brain. What are we going to do when we get to Acisazi? So we're going to say you've already forded the river. You're on your way towards Acisazi. And I'm going to kind of give it away to you guys for a little bit of role play before we get to the town.
Rigson, as he's looking at the sword, he's just had that vision from the past, and he kind of catches himself, realizing that he is not in the present moment, and he's let a past memory kind of cloud his current view, and he shakes his head to clear it, and looks at the rest of the party. We might meet more resistance. We should be careful how we deal with it. Do not wish to spill innocent blood if we can.
Sabriel kind of he seems to have been deep in thought himself, but he, in response to Rigson's words, he kind of half nods and half grimaces. Looks like he's a little ambivalent. He pauses for a moment and then says, "Well, much as I agree that we shouldn't harm the innocent, I also feel that we should take care of our own lives. If we're attacked, then, well, self-defense must be our first priority. If we die unnecessarily through being a little too fine with our morals, then we're missing the big picture and all the people we could help by living. But yes, if there's no risk to it, then by all means, let's show mercy wherever possible."
I imagine that Milo is looking very smug, despite the fact that he's in the company of these men who know and have experienced so much more than him. These are all themes that are very familiar to him as a student, as a young cleric, having studied, justice and righteousness, and good versus evil, but also redemption. And this is something that he at least nominally believes in, despite the fact that he didn't really give those guys in the last fight a chance to repent or rebuke them. As soon as he saw them attack his friends, he thought, game on. So instead of saying a word, he just kind of condescendingly kind of smirks and smiles at them like, yes, these are the wise ways to go. He thinks he's hot stuff.
Are they really innocent if they worship Asmodeus? They would not show you any kindness if you slip and let them get you.
Sabriel nods at that.
Yes, you are right. Both of you are right. They wouldn't give us any quarter if we showed any weakness. But therein lies the struggle. How are we different than them if we behave like them? There is no right answer. Do not think that I'm looking for a solution here. I would just be wary of my behavior. Yes, I do understand it seems odd that someone like myself would give an enemy, a declared enemy like those bandits back there, an opportunity to repent and change their ways. Some ways, maybe I'm searching for something or someone. You see, ever since the revolution, yes, we have shed the darkness behind, but I am not convinced that the people have shed the darkness out of their hearts. Maybe I'm trying to see if there's some out there that have been able to, even if the circumstances have not allowed them to.
I just don't see it ending good if you use the sword to try to get them to change their ways. They just hide it more.
Rigzin, you mustn't be hard on yourself. You were not unwise to offer them the chance to turn back. This is wisdom. They were fools for refusing it, and they received their just reward.
Yes, Milo, you are right. But I'm afraid of the path that is colored in black and white. There is a lot of gray out there, young cleric, and it's sometimes hard to see it when our beliefs are strong. It is hard to see the gray.
I'm aware that there's plenty of gray out there, but I've had just about enough of the darkness. The light will overcome.
Sabriel nods at those words and says, Rigzin, we could spend hours, weeks, months, pondering the nature of good and evil and how much evil is in one man's heart. Let the gods sort that out. Our choices often are black or white. Draw a sword or not draw a sword. Strike a man down or not. These are the choices that must be made in the moment. We can but do our best. And if you wonder how we are different to them, if we are never callous, never cruel, then we will always be better than them.
Well said, Sabriel. Well said. These are thoughts worth mulling over, and I shall do that. I thank you, my friends, for giving me your wise counsel. And with that, Rigzin kind of, bows his head, and he you can see that he's lost in thought.
As you guys are having this conversation, in time, I see you all kind of cresting the hill, so to speak. And as you crest the hill, you see in the distance on the shoreline. Going to go ahead and bring up a map really quick, just to kind of help us envision some things. So you guys traveled south from Cantargo along the river, eventually crossing it and kind of making your way along these hills and this this road through the forest. It's been maybe a day and a half, 2 days since your battle with the bandits. But in time, you're not maybe a couple miles from Acisazi, and you can, as you're kind of looking through the distance to get an idea, last time I actually said that it was beginning to get kind of stormy. And sure enough, as you begin to make your way towards Acisazi, you can kind of hear the wind start to pick up. And it's not too long before heavy rain begins to pelt the wagon. It seems like this area is almost under a perpetual storm. And it's just seems like it's almost ever present with what is going on. As the vision kind of like comes into more clarity for what lays ahead, you see a fishing village that is up ahead, encased in rain and cloud. It seems like this area is mostly built on stilts. You see a couple of houses and shacks kind of built on the shore, but most of the houses are built on just these planks. It seems almost like old driftwood. You see a lot of boats going to and fro, and eventually you see a couple of kind of almost like slightly blue tinted elves. They've got the longish ears like elves and kind of the slender build, but all of their skin seems to be almost tinted slightly, just like a very slight tint of blue.
Do I recognize this?
You would know, because you're a full elf or half elf, I'm forgetting.
Full elf.
Full elf. You would know that these are aquatic half elves.
Okay. So I kind of Sabriel kind of takes this sight in with a slight appraising air and a nod, almost to himself.
Yeah. I was saying if I could find a picture, but unfortunately I don't have one. So as you draw closer to the village, the wagon eventually stops. The man who's kind of been driving you is like, right, I think I'll take and lodge in here for the night and then head out the next morning. Let me help you all get your luggage out. And so he kind of goes in and helps you, bring your bags out. A couple of these aquatic half elves. Eventually, one of them comes up to you. He's like, "Hi, can we help you all?"
Sabriel nods to them and says, "We are travelers. We seek lodgings for the night."
Yeah. Well, yeah, we could definitely help you with that. And he sticks out his hand and he goes, "The name's Toss. Good to meet you. Come on in. Let's get you all suited up, or let's all get you lodgings." Sure enough, he kind of brings you in. At this point, it's probably later on in the day, what with all the traveling and the like, and so you make your way into this tavern, and or their equivalent of a tavern on these stilts in the midst of everything. You don't see any humans, which is odd. I mean, they're pretty much the biggest population in the world, and yet there's none here. Instead, all you see are these slightly blue-tinted aquatic half-elves, and occasionally, out of the population, you see full-blown aquatic elves with bluer skin and even gills on the side of their neck. They all kind of look at you as you come in with kind of a pensive stare, not exactly knowing what all of this is about. Nobody seems to be going out of their way to greet you. Toss, though, brings you in, kind of gets you all settled, and well, yeah, if there's anything we can do, I'd go on over there. And you see like another aquatic half elf behind the kind of like the tavern bar. And Toss points him out and says, "That's Fullo, and so you'll probably want to talk to him about getting lodging for the night, should you need it. Well, welcome, and forever, however long you stay, great."
Thank you.
I was wondering if I could, because I imagine Milo is very suspicious of these people because he's always been in Cantargo, and he's suspicious of everyone. They're fairly fresh out of war. He suspects anyone could be an enemy. Is there like an insight or like a sense motive sort of situation I could do, specifically on the guy who welcomed us?
Yeah, go ahead and roll sense motive on Toss.
I don't see that skill.
Oh, my apologies then. I'm so used to that with it being in Pathfinder 1E. I think it would be just perception then. I think they kind of grafted the two into each other. So you're trying to kind of ascertain what his motivations are?
Yeah, well, yeah, I just feel like they're all eyeballing us as kind of, suspicious outsiders, but I would be very cautiously eyeballing everyone, wondering, are these people, did they have some kind of evil ties to Asmodeus, or that's what I would be concerned about.
Got you. You don't see any... You don't really see any... what's the word I'm looking for? You don't see any signs to Asmodeus in this tavern. Just seems that they're kind of standoffish. Y'all are these random people who came in during a storm, and they don't know quite what to think. That's kind of the vibe you get.
I was wondering, presumably half elves aren't that common, and aquatic elves probably aren't that common either. So, is the idea of a whole community of aquatic elves and half elves, particularly half elves, is it very unusual, or is it just a little unusual?
It's just a little unusual. You think about this world and just how people tend to congregate, and half-orcs tend to congregate with half-orcs. Half-elves tend to feel... There's a weird thing with half-elves in particular, just because they're two different worlds, right? But like races tend to spend time with like races.
Okay. So yeah, Sabriel seems to mainly be just watching people as well, but not in quite the same way. He's whereas Milo's kind of looking suspiciously. Sabriel is studying. He's watching people's body language, the way they talk, their accents, their mannerisms. And particularly with the aquatic elves, seeing are there any commonalities with his and people, any differences. He's in scholarly mode.
Yeah, I hear you. Okay, yeah, so you're kind of spending your time essentially just kind of studying these people, getting an idea for what's going on there. What about the rest of you?
Rigson, as Toss greets them in. As he's walking into the tavern, he's kind of going to take a look in the surrounding area, kind of assuming that the picture you have is very similar to what it is that we are. What could I roll, like something like perception, to get a sense, like, is this a thriving community, or is it on harsh times based on the way the boats are, or the way the nets are, if there's any drying fish or something like that?
Sure. Yeah, so go ahead and roll me. And I really wish I had I really missed sense motive. Go ahead and just roll perception check. Yeah, It seems like they are. It seems like on the whole they are thriving fairly well. Doesn't seem like they're struggling or anything. You see. Keep in mind you're just in the tavern, so everything in the tavern looks like there's a decent fire going on to keep people warm. It looks like it's decently furnished. It's not the best tavern you've ever been in by any stretch. As you kind of look out the windows, just trying to kind of get an idea of what's going on. You see that the boats are all tied up, pretty decent rope. That the ropes are in pretty good condition. You see fish attempting to dry, even though it's just. Oh, thank you so much, Wanderer. I appreciate that.
Yeah, no worries. You're right. It's perception.
Okay, thanks. Seems like the community is doing well. Doesn't seem like it's, like kicking down all cylinders, like it's growing and exploding. But it seems like it's doing all right for itself.
Okay, awesome. So Rigzin takes that all and he nods to Tas. Thank you for welcoming us into your community. Yes, I will go and have a word with the tavern owner, Fulel. Yes, we would like to rent some rooms for a few days. Thank you. And with that, Rigzin makes his way towards the tavern owner, I'm assuming, who's behind some sort of a bar.
Yeah, it's Fulel, and he, half elves and elves generally don't have facial hair, but nonetheless, he's got kind of a more round face, or at least round by half elf standards. Got kind of a white apron on. Sees you walking up and is, hi. How can I help you?
Hello, my name is Rigzin. Me and my fellow travelers are looking for some lodging for a few nights. We have traveled from Kintargo.
Yeah, no, we can definitely help you with that. Yeah, we definitely have I've got 2 rooms available, each with 2 beds in it. May I see payment?
Yes, and how much would it be for both the rooms for maybe 5 nights to begin with?
Well, off the head, I'm going to say it'll probably be about a gold piece each for that much time for each room. So 2 gold piece in total. And just a reminder, you were given funds by the Silver Ravens to afford your lodgings.
Okay. Just because this is still the second session, and trying to understand the economics from Rigzin's experience, does 2 gold seem like something that is off, and I would need to take some more action, or it seems within the ballpark of?
Yeah, no, I hear what you're saying. It seems. So let's see here. A bed for 1 person is 1 silver piece. So assuming it's 2 beds, that'd be 2 silver piece a night for 5 nights. Yeah, that comes out to about 1 gold. That seems pretty good.
Cool. Yeah, I just didn't want to just keep rolling for the sake of rolling. So I just, just trying to see. Okay, it's like a fair deal. I don't need to perceive anything of this person. So that was my line of questioning.
Yeah, for sure.
Thank you, Fulel. We will take those rooms, and he takes out 2 gold coins from his a small satchel bag that he has around his waist. If you would be so kind as to arrange for some food for us, and kind of Rigzin looks around the tavern for an empty table that has 4 chairs, and if he finds one, he points to Fulel. Myself and my fellow travelers will be there. Thank you very much.
Yeah, you're very welcome. We'll get you what we're making for tonight. Just a fish stew. Go ahead and take a seat, and we'll get it to you shortly.
With that, Rigzin gives a short bow and makes his way towards the table. As he's making his way, he would, if the rest of the party is kind of spread around the tavern, he would just signal to them, showing them where he's going, and then he'll take a seat. When he sits down, he will if there are multiple doors leading into this tavern, he will sit in a fashion that allows him views of at least a majority of the doors in that room.
Yeah. Cowboy style.
Yes.
Yeah, so Rigzin points to an area and summons you all over.
Yeah, Sabriel will go over after a short delay.
Yeah, Madden would head over there as well.
Yep. Milo, I think, was shadowing Rigzin the whole way, trying to be like his. Oh yes, we're holy people. We're very confident, but Milo's actually pretty freaked out to be in this strange place. in his golden vestments, he's like sticking out really bad. He feels a little bit self-conscious.
Yeah, he's sticking out like a sore thumb.
This seems like a place that is doing at least well off.
Perhaps Sabriel doesn't respond for a moment and sort of goes, huh? Yes, I expect so. Interesting. And then he kind of realizes he's kind of let himself kind of lapse into this kind of academic study of the world around him, and he almost visibly and with some obvious annoyance of himself, kind of snaps himself out of it, and says, how much of a delay do you anticipate here?
I'm sorry, what was that question?
He said, how much of a delay do you anticipate here?
I have gathered lodging for us for 5 days. That should at least get us started to investigate if there is a cult. Cult would be the right word, Frank?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. A cult worshipping, and when before he says Asmodeus, he kind of lowers his voice and says, Asmodeus, on the out and out, people seem joyous and not under much duress. So it might take some time to see why such a cult would be formed here. Frank, is there any role I could make to recall if something like Asmodeus, right, or a cult for that, would it be like elves and that? You see what I'm saying? Like, would elves as a people get involved in something like that? Like, historically speaking, have there been such?
You're asking, is it normal for elves to worship Asmodeus?
Yes.
Sure. I would say you can roll me a religion check or society. Society is kind of like knowledge local. It's just kind of knowledge of culture, that type of thing. And religion is also would also kind of help in that regard too.
Okay, I'll roll religion.
And you know what? Given that Asmodeus is such a big deal in Cheliax, I'll let you roll that. I'm going to give like a +4 to that roll. Because it just makes sense. So you would know a couple things. Asmodeus tends to more or less be worshipped by humans. House Thrune was the one to kind of introduce it into like into Cheliax, into kind of like the greater society. And humans are pretty much like the big movers and shakers in Cheliax. I'm. You know that.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. It kind of seems odd that the elves, and on top of that, because I would have seen how um, Sabriel would have reacted to seeing um,
Yeah.
aquatic elves. So to see them, or to have something like this kind of close to them seems a little odd to begin with. So
Yeah, and
so
I would verify those feelings. It is odd. The combination of the two is odd.
yes. So Rigzin would look to the rest. Yes, it is not common for elves, let alone aquatic elves, and have not had the pleasure of meeting as many. I think I've met the most number today than in my previous so many years. Um, to be associated with Asmodeus. Um,
Fabriel looks shocked at that and says, "Well, of course not. I mean, that's..." And he kind of lowers his voice and says, "That's great evil. Well, I don't need to tell you that, but yeah, it's..." And he looks like it's really shocked, like he'd accused his family of something.
Yeah.
yes, exactly. Your reactions are appropriate. So why would a cult be operating around here? Or to me, it seems that your brethren would have pushed them out. So there must be something more. We'll have to be careful.
I presume they must be operating in secret, but you're right, there is a possibility that they have gained some acceptance here. And he almost seems to kind of grimace at just saying the words.
So, couple things. I want to. I'm trying to slowly introduce some of the mechanics in Pathfinder as we go along, just so we don't bog it down right in the beginning. And this seems a good opportunity to talk about a pretty important mechanic, and that is hero points. And so how it works is at the beginning of every session, everybody gets 1 hero point. This hero point can be used to reroll a check, and you get to use the second result. Right? A hero point also allows you to avoid death. So when you're in the dying condition, which we really haven't gotten into death and dying rules yet, but when you're dying, you can immediately stabilize by using a hero point, and you stabilize with 0 hit points. So it means you're unconscious, but you're no longer dying. That's pretty much the hero points are pretty strong. As we roleplay, as we kind of go through our sessions, I can award hero points based on roleplay, based on things that have happened. It's pretty much just GM's discretion to do that whenever I want. Generally, they don't, I'll award them throughout the night, but I'm not going to give them hand over fist, right? Because it's pretty powerful to be able to re-roll whatever roll you want. With that said, I want to go ahead and give a hero point to X for kind of seeing that it's just odd that, kind of putting that together right away. So X, you have 2. The rest of you have 1. Hero points reset at the beginning of every session. So if you got them, spend them. And at the beginning of the next session, you get another. Everybody starts off with 1 hero point again. So just bringing that to everybody's attention, because it's a pretty powerful thing, and I want you to be aware of it because it's part of the game. Another thing that I want to bring up, and this is specifically in regards to what was going on, Sabriel, you were kind of academically just looking at the room, analyzing relationships, that type of thing. Go ahead and roll me a perception check. And only you, because you specifically said you were studying the room.
think. There we go.
Yeah, you're good. You're good. 8.
Unlike the roll. Okay.
Yeah. So yeah, you're kind of looking through and it just seems like everybody's pretty much having a good time. And I think nothing really kind of sticks out to you. You're probably just tired from the journey.
Okay. Yeah. And also, I get quite preoccupied with thinking, I wasn't alert enough here.
Yeah. But anyway, I want to turn it back over to y'all to continue.
And Sabriel will turn round to Martin and say, "What about you? You've been very quiet. Any thoughts?"
Yes, I think it's weird. But promises and wealth and everything else make people do the weird things, don't matter what species they are. I've been kind of trying to look to see if there's anybody that looks like slaves. Anybody that's did against their will. But I doubt that I'll see them here. But no doubt that if there's fishing involved, there's labor to be needed.
No, I hope we'll not see such things here. But it's a good thought.
Go ahead and give me a perception check, Sim. Actually, you can roll perception or you can roll society. Both would make sense. And just awareness for all of you, you can roll any check untrained. It's just that when you have skills that are trained, it kind of opens up the opportunity for more uses of that skill, right? So, like, anybody can recall knowledge in these areas, but... Okay, so 23. So, Madden, you're looking around, and you know kind of the gait, the look, the state of slaves, and you don't see any slaves in this tavern, at least. Even the waitress who or barmaiden who kind of like comes out and gives you all of your fish stew for the meal, none of them, not even she, seems like she's there against her will. Everybody here is an aquatic elf, or mostly half elves who are aquatic elves, and then occasionally a full-blown aquatic elf.
Yes, but here everybody looks like they wanted to be here, but no doubt if there's something here, we should be able to uncover it.
Sabriel nods and carries on looking around the room. Now he's studying people for a different reason. He's much more on the same kind of same wavelength as Milo now.
Milo would notice you're studying and want some of your insight and say, why do you suppose they're scared of us?
I don't know. Perhaps it's just that we're strangers and armed. But I don't know. Perhaps there's more. He kind of looks at the others and says, maybe I should try and talk to someone. Perhaps they've had troubles here and they thought we might be part of something more. If no one objects, he'll get up and head over to the innkeeper.
Sure. So you make your way over to the innkeeper slash bartender. That's what you said, correct?
Yeah.
How's the fish stew? Everything all right? Anything we could do with your food?
Oh, it is most satisfactory, thank you.
Hmm.
I was wondering, well, I don't know how to approach this, but it seems that people are a little alarmed at our presence. I was wondering if we could do anything to put them at their ease. We don't wish to, well, ruin everyone's evening.
Yeah, you can kind of see the innkeeper just kind of nodding. And sure enough, yeah, you guys do see people. You see people, they're not staring, but every now and then they're just kind of like shooting glances at you. Almost as if they're asking with their body language, why are these people here? Well, I gotta be honest, we don't get a lot of travelers that come through Acisazi. They're a pretty small village, and just kind of like shrugs as he's looking at you. And honestly, I mean, most of the folks who did come through here are normally the tax collectors looking for their pay. He kind of looks at you, kind of squinting. Whether it was Cheliax or Ravenel, Acisazi doesn't really matter. Just kind of independent. And he kind of shakes his head as and he kind of looks specifically at you, Sabriel, and he's like, you know,
I can quite understand.
yeah, we just keep to
Oh, yeah.
ourselves.
I can assure you we're not tax collectors. And he says that we are, well, we're looking for work, as a matter of fact. Just passing through, really, but it would be useful for us to stay here for a little while, rest. We are, well, I guess you could say between quests, perhaps would be a way of putting it. And he smiles.
Yeah.
The work would not be so much to gain coin as to keep us occupied and, well, you know, you've heard about idle hands.
Ah.
He smiled.
Yes, we are aware. Trying to keep some of the younger boys and girls of the village occupied is always sometimes a difficult task. They get up to hijinks and tomfoolery and the like. Well, I'd suggest tomorrow, after you've rested up, probably going to our mayor, Ulfel, and if there's work to be done or anything that needs doing, he would be the one to talk about. He would be the one to talk to.
Thank you.
Very welcome.
And he reaches to his money pouch, and there aren't many coins in there. He's not going to reveal that one of them's platinum. He kind of like makes it obvious it's not a very full money pouch, and kind of like doesn't show the coin, but kind of weighs them in his hand and says, "Might I ask how much would it cost to buy drinks for the whole bar, for the whole tavern?"
The whole tavern. Let's see. There's probably only like 20 or so people in there. He says, 2 silver apiece.
Very well. And Sabra will pull 2 silver out of his pouch. And then he kind of nods to him and says, turns to the bar at the tavern and kind of clears his throat. And probably half the people are looking at him anyway. And says, I'm aware that we are strangers in town and have disturbed your evening. By way of apology, I would like to buy a drink for all present. And what's the name of the barkeep again?
His name is Fullel.
Said Fuller will be glad to serve you. And he smiles at Fuller and says, thank you. And then he goes back to his table.
Yeah, and so the people in the tavern kind of look at you and they all kind of like nod towards one another, and Fullel, takes the coin, bites it, puts it into his kind of like his till, looks at everybody, gives them thumbs up, and all of them are like, yeah! And the place seems like it's a lot lighter after that. There's no more like people just like shooting stares at you. Occasionally you hear little things like, tax collectors definitely don't do that, and they're all it seems like it helped to definitely make everything chill out.
Great. And it also means there's a bit more background noise to cover our conversation now.
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, you feel like there's a, it's definitely less quiet at this point. People are kind of rejoicing, talking about their day. Go ahead and, give me some perception checks really quick. From everybody, just to see if you can kind of pick up on anything that they're talking about in the tavern.
Hey, Frank, could you roll for me, please?
Oh, yeah, thank you for the reminder, buddy. I appreciate that. Rigzin and perception. Okay, yeah, so, Rigzin, I know you guys can't see it. I have GM rolls masked, but Rigzin rolled a 21, just so we're all on the same page. So Rigzin and Milo, you guys are able to pick up a few things. Sabriel, you're just tired from the day. Madden, you just are. I don't know what's going through Madden's head. Maybe he's just thoughts of violence. What do you think?
He's actually focused on the drink.
Okay, it's focused on the drink. Fair enough. Yeah, so he's absolutely just focused on the drink. Rigzin and Milo, though, you guys hear a couple of things just throughout the tavern. Some of it's pretty people just like talking about how much of a catch they brought in for the day. A couple of them, oh man, I can't believe I found a pearl and this clam. No way! He hits him. I swear to God, it's as big as my head. You're a liar. And, people kind of like start messing with him and the like. Another guy's like, my net keeps getting trashed by these Reef Claws. Next time, every time I think I got a catch, it's just like they come through when the fish are just sitting there and chop up the net and pull them away. And a couple of people are talking about, just other things. The other thing you kind of hear about is sea devils, and I swear I saw one out of the corner of my eye. They're around here. Bullshit. Kind of like slaps him on the arm. Legends, whatever. The Aquatic Elf Council, they've got these waters under control. We don't have to worry about sea elves, or we don't have to worry about sea devils. A couple of other ones. Rigzin, you specifically hear one guy say, "Man, I can't believe. Can you believe all that stuff Mare got? Yeah, I can't, it's pretty crazy. I can't believe he'd even try and sell all of that. He says he got it for free. Bull crap. Everybody knows that you don't get stuff from Asmodeus for free. All that whole thing is they've always been tight-fisted. Contract this, contract that. Oh, yeah, no, I'm telling you, he's, like, giving it away. And so, you just kind of hear all of this conversation throughout the tavern.
What is the name of the individual who's giving stuff away again? I missed that name.
His name is Mare.
Mayor. Okay.
M-E-I-R.
M-E-I-R. Okay. So Rigzin makes a mental note of that. Something to look into and investigate. But he doesn't raise any points about it to the rest of the group just yet. But he does hear the word Asmodeus, and he, if anybody's looking at him, can see him visibly relax a bit, because now he knows that they are in the right place, because a part of him was a little concerned that they're out here on some sort of a misinformation errand, but when he hears Asmodeus and that exchange, he relaxes and he knows, okay, now things will start falling in place, um, and he starts smiling a little, um, and he just nods, continues to listen to the rest of the conversation occurring throughout the tavern.
So the hours pass by. People eventually, kind of getting drunk, stumbling home. The rain is still coming down. Just seems like there's as you look through the windows, the sun is definitely set by now and it's dark outside. And you can see that just like this mist, these clouds have kind of like come up and give this place almost an ever-present fog. The tavern is mostly kind of emptied out by now, and it's probably close to 11 o'clock, and you see Philo, the tavern owner, kind of up, just like cleaning glasses, and he just yells out, it's probably you four and maybe like a couple of two guys who are just wasted. It's like, last call!
What was said earlier about sea devils? So they said they didn't have to worry about them out here. What was that?
Yeah, you overheard a conversation. Like, I swear I saw some sea devils out here. No, that's bullshit. The aquatic council's got these waters under control. Don't worry about it. No, I swear to God, they're in these waters. I saw it myself. Wives' tale.
Gotcha. I mean, again, Milo wouldn't approach these people, but once he heard devils, he would have like been fairly obviously staring at them and listening intently to their conversation.
Fair enough. So yeah, you're just like staring at them, and they kind of look at you, and as you begin like just kind of looking at, eventually one of them looks over and they kind of get quiet and just start drinking. Clearly kind of skeezed out that you were listening in on their conversation.
Fair enough.
Right. Anything else you all would like to do before bed?
Sabriel will just get ready for bed. Yeah, he's a little bit, just a little bit wary, and before he heads up, he kind of pauses and says to the others in a low voice, "I would not normally suggest this in an inn, but given the circumstances of our presence here, should we take watches? I know it all seems very quiet, but we don't know yet what lies beneath the surface here."
Rigson looks at Sabriel and says, yes, that is a wise suggestion. Let us do that.
I shall take the first. I'll take the first shift. I can't sleep.
Very well. I'm an early riser, so I'll take the last. This means we should perhaps share a room, or if we can leave a door open between our rooms, something like that.
Sabriel, we shall share a room, and Milo, you share a room with Madden. That way, if something were to happen, you have either of us to help. And I will take the first watch in my room. Milo, you do the same in yours. And then Madden and Sabriel can get the last watch just by dawn.
Yes, that sounds good.
All right. You all go to sleep for the evening. The rain still pounding at the roofs, at the walls. Seems like this place is just wet all the time. The watch is uneventful. All of you are up for the whole evenings. Don't notice any issues with anybody. Tavern owner is went to sleep in his particular room. You're the only guests that are really staying there that night, and so you kind of have you kind of are able to scope out the entire tavern, and it's kind of eerily quiet. You wake up the next morning, and you're even up before the tavern owner.
This isn't particularly unusual for Sabriel. He's normally an early riser, so he just stays in his room, gets his spell book out, and also another little. Once he's memorized his spells, he gets out another little book, a sort of a more advanced work on magic. You know, that he hasn't been able to grasp yet, and he can be seen sitting there muttering to himself as he tries to almost cram the knowledge into his mind to force himself to learn it. But if anything, he's trying too hard.
If I felt uncomfortable talking last night with all of the patrons, Milo would speak to his comrades at some point this morning, asking if they heard. Did you hear about the talk about the sea devils? There was talk of somebody saw sea devils out in the sea, and they said that the council of the aquatic elves, they're supposed to be in charge and making sure that these things aren't happening. They're compromised. I know it. We must be careful when we come in and speak to the mayor. Old Fel, I believe they've been compromised by Asmodeans.
Rigzin pipes up at that point. It is interesting. I did hear another piece of conversation. There seems to be a man by the name Meyer in this town who seems to be giving away goods freely. I heard other men talking about him and saying that he might be connected to Asmodeus. So yes, there is definitely dealings. The Asmodeus cult here. It is not clear how it operates. That's something that we will have to slowly uncover. But you're right, Milo. There is definitely something up. We are in the right place for sure.
Milo gets like a big smile on his face, like kind of scared but kind of excited. Like, oh yeah, it's gonna happen.
Yes, you are correct. I think it's a good start. Maybe perhaps if we watch him and try to get close to him. But worst case scenario, we could threaten them with harm, but I don't see that working as well.
What do you say that we go speak to the mayor of the town and offer our services in exchange to help them with these sea devils that they seem to be talking about? We can carefully look at his reaction. If he welcomes help or shuns us, that should give us an indication. And maybe we can talk to the innkeep here and have him point us to this person, Meyer. And maybe we can meet him on the pretext of buying some goods from him and investigate this person.
I'm not a good liar. It's not allowed. I'm not a good spy, is what I'm trying to say. I will stand back. It's surely, if anyone is affiliated with this cult of the devils, then they will see me coming from a mile away. But
Yes,
I will not disrobe. I will not defrock myself. This is who I am. I will not pretend to be anyone else.
I'd agree with you. I don't think I'd hide my anger towards worshippers of the devil himself. So I would have to stand back as well.
Ah, no, you misunderstand me. It is not to engage them or be part of them. It is to see if they are indeed such people. Do not hide yourselves. Be who you are. Their reaction will tell you if they have something to hide from you. If they are not followers of Asmodeus, then they will not have any issue with you, Milo. They will deal with you fairly. But if they are squeamish, then that tells us something. It is not clear what goods this Meyer might have. It might be something a traveler like us could buy. And if it is, we can ask him more questions as to where he got such fine goods, if they are fine indeed. And if he is selling them for such a throwaway price, then we should investigate why is he doing so. As for the sea devils, we are here like any adventurers are. We can help them rid of these devils. We are neither protecting nor saving such things. If they are not ready to engage with us to get rid of these devils, then that shows you again that they are in cahoots with Asmodeus.
Milo nods at Rigson's words and kind of lifts his kind of soft chin high. Says, yes. The dawn brings new light. Just remembering that there is power in light to overcome darkness.
Indeed, we shall be who we have always been, and let the people around us react the way they want to react. We should keep a sharp eye, and we will see the truth that is about this place.
As you talk about keeping a sharp eye, you're suddenly aware that Sabriel hasn't been listening to any of this. He's been absolutely buried in his book, and he's muttering angry about himself. He's trying to make this particular gesture with 3 of his fingers, and it won't happen. He's getting very angry, and he suddenly just kind of almost throws down the book. It looks like he wants to throw it down and realizes it's going to damage it. He kind of smacks it down on the table and makes an exasperated noise, and then looks round and says, "Oh, sorry. Did I miss something?"
And
Not much, my elvish friend, not much. We shall go and speak to the mayor. Then we shall go find this individual named Meyer. And
Meyer.
we shall see how things go.
Very well.
All right. You all kind of gather up your things and get ready to go out on the town or the village. It's not a terribly large area. You make your way out of the tavern, and kind of you notice that the tavern is pretty much like centrally located in the city. A lot of people go there and congregate. Might be kind of like a small shrine. There is a merchant kind of like opening and kind of like goes into his shop. He kind of like opens up the blinds and kind of pulls them up. And as you look into the shop, presumably you would, just your eye catching it, you see you make out the telltale sign. There's just like no doubt about it, and there's like no trying to hide it or anything in this merchant's shop of the upside down pentagram, whether it be kind of like on a small tapestry or you see like a couple of items. It's not taking up everything. It looks like it's kind of like in its own section, but it's clearly like there's Asmodeus stuff in there. But as you're crossing, you know, I'll say the barkeep, the innkeeper, essentially gave you directions to get kind of to the. They don't really have a town hall; they're a small village. So he kind of gives you directions to the mayor's house, which is just across the way. What do you guys do?
Gabriel definitely looks unhappy to see that symbol, and it kind of takes him back a little bit when he sees it. And he's kind of has to, kind of does a double take and has to kind of carry on. And then he looks a little deep in thought, and he's starts giving people much more not hostile glances, but anyone else in the street, he'll be definitely weighing them up now, and looking less friendly than he was.
Sure.
By the way, I still seem to be spelled out from last session. Is there a way of resting?
You should, yeah. So you guys, oh, you mean mechanically? Like, is there a button that you can press to rest?
Yeah.
Correct?
Yes. Yeah.
Gotcha.
Because the characters will have rested, I presume, on the journey. So.
Yes, that is a very good question. Let me go ahead and figure that out.
I think there was something about the GM could right-click on character portrait or something.
Oh, thank
There should be
you.
a button.
Man, I didn't even know that. You're rock solid, man. Awesome.
Thank
You should be all rested up. All of you.
you very much.
No problem.
Nice.
Go ahead and do that for each of you. That actually, I didn't...
There should be a button that does all at once.
Oh, yeah, you're right. Surely there's a button for everybody, huh? Well, I'll go ahead and look that up on our time off. In the meantime, how do you guys proceed? What do you guys do?
I would like to. Rigson would have seen the shop and the merchant, and he looks to the rest of his group to see what is it that they are doing.
So we all can see that, right? So Madden's just staring at it kind of angrily. Looks like it's out in the open now.
I must say I find that disturbing. So blatant. Almost like they're showing off their evil. Give me the shivers.
Yes. Our mission here is to make sure that they aren't slavers specifically. Right? We can't just stop them from worshipping Asmodeus, as much as this is what my faith largely requires of me. This is not our mission. It was to make sure that they were not breaking the laws of am I...
Yes, you're right. Much as I hate to admit it, but seeing that symbol, it brings back so many horrible memories. I'm sure it does for all of you too.
There's one way to make sure that this town doesn't have slavers in it. It's just to burn it down. Can't be slavers if there's no town.
Sabriel grins. He's assuming that Madden's joking, which Madden might well not be. But,
Go ahead, everybody, and roll me a perception check as you're kind of walking through the town on the way to the mayor's house.
Prank, I'm almost home. Can you just roll this one for me?
Sure. Milo sees the ground.
dirt. It's wet from last night.
Okay, so Madden and Sabriel, and this is great considering the roleplay that it kind of shook out this way. As you guys are looking at this symbol and you look around the town, Madden, you specifically don't see any outward signs of Asmodeus or Asmodean worship on any of these buildings. Doesn't look like it's anywhere else. Sabriel, perhaps it's just like the anger that's kind of burning inside of you. As folks are kind of like opening their windows and their shutters for the day, you don't, like, you maybe like take a quick peer in. You don't notice the symbol anywhere else.
Okay, so is it just one place we've seen it in so far?
Correct.
Okay, and can you give us a bit more detail about the context? Was it like really? I know you said it's just kind of one section, but was it really kind of openly displayed? Was it kind of very prominent or not?
Yeah, it was. So it wasn't necessarily in a prominent spot, but y'all are in kind of a hair trigger given your mission and given all of y'all's experience. So when you saw through the house, your eyes just immediately, like, bam, went right to it. But it's not that it was necessarily in a prominent area. It's just that all of it was kind of like in a small section in what appears to be this guy's shop. Definitely appeared to be a merchant. And, you know, as you saw him kind of like open the blinds, he just kind of like gets to sweeping, kind of getting ready to start the day.
So, Brill says, look, I can't just sit here and see that stuff sold. I'm going to buy it and destroy it. But I don't necessarily have to tell him what I plan with it.
I think you should tell him.
Well, see his reaction.
Yes. Because he might, if he gets mad, then we'll know. And he won't sell it to you. But
I see.
then
Merchant
again,
versus believer.
yes. But if it's something that he has acquired along the way, then he wouldn't mind parting with it either way. It's just coin.
True. Very well. And Sabriel kind of looks down for a moment and then summons his best bright smile and walks into the shop.
Great. Just so I'm clear on what's going on, is anybody else walking into the shop with Sabriel, or are all of you staying outside of the shop while he goes in by himself?
Man would follow him, of course.
Okay, Madden will follow.
Milo's very nervous. He's not good at he. If he's asked what they're doing here, he will say it's to rid this place of any Asmodeus worshippers. So he's nervous to go in.
Gotcha.
He's just kind of pretending like just whistling outside, kicking the rocks.
So he's self-aware enough to realize that if he goes in, it could ruin everything.
I'm not the face for this mission.
Okay.
Rigzin would follow Madden, but he would stay just on the outside of the door. That way it doesn't look like three people are crowding into the shop space.
Sure.
But he would be standing ready in case things didn't go well.
Absolutely. Sounds good. Okay, so Sabriel, you kind of lead the way and you open the door, opens up and you hear the bing, 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 and as it hits the door, and the shopkeep turns around and looks at you, big smile on his face, takes his broom that he has in his hands and kind of like goes behind the counter, puts it there. It appears that he's like trying to do as quick as he possibly can, and hey, welcome, welcome to Myers Menagerie. Sure glad y'all. We don't get a ton of visitors. Welcome. How can I help you?
Well, I was interested in these. And smiling, he kind of indicates all the Asmodeus stuff. Can you tell me a little about them?
Yeah, it's well, I suppose you're a worshipper of Asmodeus.
Well, not as such, but I'm interested in learning more. I'll study that.
Oh, okay. Well, I'll tell you this much. We essentially had some folks who kind of brought it toward. They essentially wanted to kind of help reignite Asmodeus worship in the land, and so they kind of well, they gave me a really good deal on it. Said that might help some of the folks that are kind of on the outskirts and not really looking to get a scene. So, you come out here to Acisazi. Not a lot of people know. You can get your Asmodeus stuff.
Interesting. Are there many of the... And he kind of pauses for a second and picks a word. Many of the faithful? Yeah?
In Acisazi?
Hmm.
Oh, no, not really. We're not really a big Asmodeus people. Kind of like using his hands to try and talk and look for words at the same exact time. But we definitely know that there are folks who are looking for that type of stuff, and this proves to be we proved to try and be a place where people can get it. You get a couple of villagers every now and then that come in and get it here and there. It's not like it happens in mass or anything, but we're definitely trying to supply it to those who need it.
Very interesting. I mean, for me, and then the smile just kind of drops off his face. Yeah, that's like a light switch, spin switch. For me, I can't help but associate it with all the atrocities of Cheliax. And he just now he's looking the shopkeeper in the eye.
Oh, well, yeah, you could see that his tone kind of just like changes in that moment, and he's like, well, it's not for everybody, I guess. And that's just how it is, I suppose. Kind of trying to kind of smooth things over is kind of the vibe that you get.
Well, how about this? You want to make a profit. I want to see these things destroyed. So how about I buy them off you and then I burn them? Then we're both happy.
He looks at you kind of like you see him, kind of like thinking about it in his head, and I mean, they pretty much sold it to me for you know what? Yeah, go ahead and buy him off of me. That'd be great. And he just looks at you and smiles.
Right.
I really don't care.
And how about I give you a little bit of extra to tell me a little bit about the people who sold them? And he said, so how much are we talking for the items, first of all?
So as you specifically ask him about that, he's like, he's more than willing to sell them to you, but he just kind of like goes blank. I can't give that information. But it's pretty much pay what you want. So, I mean, within reason, of course. You can't give me nothing. But, heck, you give me a gold piece, I'll give you all of it.
Well, considering... man would pop up. Well, considering the alternative is to burn him in place, I don't know if we want to touch him.
Okay, go ahead and roll me an intimidate check. He
Use your hero points.
Yeah. He
So what did you spend your first hero point on? Oh, intimidate your shopkeeper.
I can't believe it.
Well, it was you know what? It was a really good intimidate too. So, but yeah, he essentially looks at you and he's like, "Look, if you want to buy the wares, that's fine. Do whatever the hell with them that you wish. But I can't reveal that. At least, not without some serious compensation."
Now that sounds like an interesting window. Window we can perhaps work with. Yeah, I realize I misunderstood, by the way. I don't have a platinum piece, but I do have 3 gold. So I slide a gold piece across the counter first of all and say, so that's for all of that, and kind of several grimaces as he kind of waves a hand, kind of this sort of distasteful stuff, and then he says, for the news, well, I can understand that might come at a premium. No one wishes to anger dangerous people.
Okay, so he takes the coin, puts it into his till, and he says, "Take it. It's yours." And there's a couple of things that's kind of like amidst all of it. First off, you see that there are at least maybe 7 or 8 copies. Actually, that's too much. You see that there are 2 to 3 copies of the Asmodean monograph. And that is essentially like the holy book of Asmodeus. You notice that there are a couple of stamps and almost like wax seals, and engraved into the bottom of them is a pentagram, and it kind of has the visage of Asmodeus kind of on the metal part of it. People use like for like stamping contracts or stamping that type of thing. You know, there's like a bunch of scrolls, and essentially kind of has like a letterhead for Asmodeus. It all looks like very official looking. There's a couple of tapestries. It's all yours. Just go ahead and take it, whatever you want. Rigzin, you're there, and do you have? Well, actually, I don't want to spoil anything potentially, so give me a second. No, not yet. Yeah, so you see all the stuff that's right there, and it's available for you to take. And when you say, like, I don't want to anger, I don't want you to anger dangerous people, he's like, look, Acisazi will look after me. I'm not too worried about angering people. It's just that I have. He looks like he's just trying to get the words out. Look, help my village out, and we might be able to come to some type of an agreement. Fair enough?
It's more than fair, thank you. And Sabriel will gather up these items as best he can.
When he says those words, Rigzin now steps in, and he, stands his full height, like, chest out, with the mail and everything. Pretty much the door is completely blocked at this point. It's almost like whatever sunlight's outside is now being filtered around him. You said help your village. What ails it, my friend? No more shadowy words. We are here to help. Be open with me now, and we might be able to finish this quickly. Send us around in circles, and it's not going to go anywhere anytime soon.
So you look at him and he's nodding. Go ahead and roll me a diplomacy check.
Okay.
Oh no!
Hey, we're playing a game of dice. We got to use them.
I'm wondering if there's any mechanism for me to assist.
Yeah, actually there is. So you can roll a diplomacy check as well, and as long as you roll over a 10, you can add a +2 to his roll.
Wait, why didn't
Great. So I'll say, yes, my friend speaks the truth. We genuinely want to help this town.
Oh, it's outside, that's why.
Okay. So Sabriel, you give a +2 to Rigzen's roll. Rigzen, you could put a 2 in the bottom left-hand corner for the modifier, or we could just add it manually. That's fine. Yeah. 11.
No, I'm going to use my hero point for this. Wait, is that diplomacy? Yeah, that's diplomacy.
Okay, so all right, so you have one left. You have to accept the new roll, whatever it is.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, not bad.
Hey,
20.
20.
He nods. He's like, "All right, look, people who gave me this stuff. I'm going to be honest with you. They're not extorting me, intimidating me, or anything like that. My village actually needs some help, and should you show that you can help us out, that would be enough for me to know that well, we'd be good." It kind of gives you a thumbs up. All right, so we've got these things called Reef Claws. I don't know if you've ever heard of them, but they make fishing hell in this area. Kill them. Bring me back their claws just as evidence that you actually killed. I'll give you the fishing spot where they have been just tearing everything up, and then we can talk a little bit more. And he kind of like gives you a knowing glance. Make sense?
Yes, that makes sense. Tell me, us handling these claws, would that also be useful, something we can go to the mayor with?
Yeah, I mean, listen, on the whole, everything is all right in Acisazi. We don't have too many problems. We have issues with the Reef Claws. People talk about sea double stuff, but I don't know if the bulk of us, just a couple of people who fish in particular areas that come back with stories and make it all out to be a big deal. So I don't even know if that's true or not, but I do know that the Reef Claws are a pain in everyone's ass, and so if you can take them out, that would be a really good foot in with the mayor. And if he knows anything, that might lead to some other things.
Very well. This is helpful, Meyer. We will take care of the Reef Claws and come back here. And your help in finding these people who deal in wares from Asmodeus, if you could point them out to us, that will also be helpful. We are here to help your village. We are not here like people before us to subjugate it, to take advantage of it, or to tax it unfairly. If you can believe that, then we have made progress.
So he nods as he's talking, and he just says, kind of puts up his hands as if to say, slow down, and he says, let's just start with the Reef Claws and go from there. Generally, the only humans that come to Acisazi are people that want to exploit it and use us. Take care of the Reef Claws, and that would be a pretty good show and sign of a good show of faith for us to know that, well, you're on our side.
Very well. If you could point us to where these Reef Claws could be found, we shall take care of them.
Excellent. So yeah, he gives you some directions, kind of like brings out a map for you to follow, and you kind of see this There's this area with kind of like a lot of rocks jutting out of the water. He's like, there's some really good shellfish around here. Crab, and fishers also get a ton of areas in this spot. You can help with this. That'd be a huge help, honestly. It gives you the directions. It's not a couple miles away. You could make it there by the afternoon. Or maybe a little before noon.
Very well. And with that, Rigzin kind of does an about face and walks out of the store.
Gabriel's gathering up all this stuff, and he seems to have a second thought when he looks at these seals, and he takes one of them and puts it in his pocket, and then the rest, or a pouch, I guess, not in pocket, and then he carries all the rest of the stuff out and starts looking for somewhere that would be safe to burn them. So obviously on a boardwalk's not the safest place.
Yeah. Yeah, you feel like you could probably get it outside of the village and burn it safely there without there really being too much of an issue. So with that said, you guys leave the... Myers Menagerie. You're back out kind of in the village. What are your next steps? I know you talked about talking to the mayor. Do you want to go do that? Do you want to proceed to the area on the map that Meyer gave you? Do you just want to go burn all this stuff? Do you want to do something else? What do y'all want to do?
As soon as y'all walked out, Milo is holding his holy symbol in his hand in a very tight fist. He's just chanting, "For the sun and the fury." And as soon as he sees you guys come out, he'd want to know what happens. Shall we kill him?
Easy, Milo, easy. Your prayers have been answered. He has helped us. We have a small errand to run.
You've made a deal with him? It sounds suspiciously like a devil thing.
It's not a deal. He's not the devil. Go ahead,
And he's
Sabriel,
not even
explain to him.
He's not even a devil worshipper. He's an innkeeper. Sorry, he's a shopkeeper. He, some people sold him this stuff very cheaply, and the worst he's guilty of is not having the discretion to know he shouldn't touch it. As far as we can tell, at least. He sold it to me knowing I was going to burn it, and if we help the village, he will tell us more about the people who sold it to him. So, he just seems like a man wanting to make a living. I'm going to burn this stuff. The rest of you could go and talk to the mayor if you like. Unless Milo, you want to come and help me burn this?
It'd be my honor. I still look through the window and kind of like squint at through the window like, this guy's up to something.
He's just there like sweeping his floor again, looking pleasant.
Looks normal. Too normal.
I don't know about you guys, but I realized that, and this is just part of me GMing, is I keep pantomiming things. Like I've been using my hands for a bunch of the stuff, and I realized, nobody can see me. This is just for me.
I do that too. It just helps with the RP always.
Yeah.
I'm constantly making faces and reacting that nobody can see.
Okay, so you guys make your way out towards so Milo and Sabriel. You make your way out kind of to the shoreline, getting ready to kind of burn stuff. It's pretty wet, but you're going to take your time to do that. Sounds like Madden and Rigzin, you guys are going to go talk to the mayor.
Wait. No. Sorry, I just missed that in the RP. No, I believe it would be good to talk someone as important as the mayor once we have achieved some good for this town. So this Reef Claws that this man talked to us about, a lot of the fishermen yesterday in the tavern were complaining about it as well. It seemed to have been destroying their nets and affecting their livelihood. If one thinks about it a little longer, that is something someone like Asmodeus and his followers would benefit from. People like Asmodeus and their followers prey on the weak, those who are in distress. If we can help these people rid them of this nuisance, then they will be stronger. They will be able to push Asmodeus, his teachings, and his followers away with their own strength without needing us to protect them. I think if we fix this and then go to the mayor, we will learn more about this place.
I think there is one benefit to telling the mayor in advance, which is that if we tell him what we're doing, then afterwards he can claim to the people of the town that it was at his urging that we went, and share in some of the credit. That may perhaps help to gain more of his goodwill.
Ah, that is wise counsel, Sabriel. That is wise counsel. Very well then. You and Milo go take care of this. Actually, yes. You and Milo take care of this. Madden and I will go talk to the mayor.
Very well. I'll see you later. I have books to burn.
That's never gone wrong.
Does it feel
Historically.
kind of like, what did I just say?
Yeah, I was gonna say that is very out of character for Sabriel. That is amazing. That is
It's just kind of like, wow. Did I just say? Yeah, I did. Yep.
This is awesome. This is awesome.
okay.
This is sweet. Sweet.
All right, so you guys, so Milo and Sabriel go off to go and do that. Give me a second here, guys. Just doing something. Should be a little bit fun. All right, so Rigzin and Madden, you make your way off to where essentially the innkeeper told you the mayor lived. Town is small enough to it really doesn't need a town hall. You go to the mayor's house, and essentially his wife is there and says, "Oh, you just missed him. He's actually he just walked out to go fishing. If you run out to the docks, you might be able to catch him." And you kind of run off, get to the docks just in time to see kind of a tall, lanky. Thin, kind of like older, half elf, aquatic, kind of graying hair. Sees you coming, and he says, "Oh, you're the those visitors that just came into town, right?"
Yes. My name is Rigson, and this is my companion, Madden. At your service.
Excellent. Well, feel free to make yourself comfortable. We don't get a ton of visitors, so sorry there's not a lot of entertainment or anything. What can I do to help? Well, what do you need?
I think it is more what we can do to help you,
Oh,
Mr. Mayor.
yeah. And he kind of like looks at me. He's like, "You just want to help. That's it."
Yes. We are here from Kintargo, sent to aid your town in any which way we can.
I'm gonna go ahead and roll a perception check for him. He looks
I
at
like the way you
you.
reacted to that.
He looks at you. Okay, so here's how I'm thinking about this, and correct me if I'm wrong, X. You guys do want to help, but you do have an ulterior motive, right?
Yes.
And so I'm roll me a bluff check.
Cool. Wait.
It might be
Since
deception.
skill.
It might
Deception.
be it might be deception.
Deception. There we go.
So yeah, he looks at you and he essentially is like, yeah, you just want to help. Kind of like leans back and crosses his arms. Now there's more to this. Why do you want to help? There's no free lunch. Stands, kind of crosses his arms and looks at you really intently.
In the past, evil has been able to find ground, take prisoners, and subvert people because they stood alone. They neither sought help nor were they given help. You might have heard of the rebellion in Kintargo. It was only possible because a lot of people stood by each other, helped each other, and pushed back the evil that night. Since then, the people of Kintargo have realized that the only way to keep evil at bay is to go out there and help people fend for themselves if they cannot send someone to help them fend for themselves. But evil does not sleep. It does not take defeat lightly. It finds its way into small towns, small hamlets, small fishing villages like yours when no one is looking. And I'm afraid that that might be the case. So yes, I'm offering my help. But my motive is to push back evil. And if you will help me do that, then I will be able to gladly help you. I hope that answers your question.
So yeah, he looks at you. My dog is wagging its tail. My apologies.
It's a hell of a tail.
Yeah, you hear the thump, thump, thump. So yeah, he looks at you and he says, all right. I'll tell you of two things that you can do to help. And if you can help us, I'll see what we can do to help you. We've got a Reef Claw problem. And I've heard some reports about sea devils. Now, I don't know if they're true. I know that they're just reports. I can give you the roundabout area from where we've heard these reports. If you'd investigate it for me to dispel it or confirm it, it'd be a real great help so I could put some rumors to rest in this town.
Very well, Mayor. We shall take care of these two items for you. We will take care of the sea claws, the reef claws first. Yes, some of your townsfolk in the tavern yesterday were complaining about it, said it was destroying their nets and affecting their livelihood. If we can take care of it for them, we would be honored.
All right. He gives you the coordinates for the Sea Devils. He tells you that it's essentially kind of north of town on one of the shorelines, and he tells you that the Reef Claws are essentially west of town, and he essentially just confirms the coordinates that the merchant gave you. Let's pause, guys, and let's take a bathroom break, because I think my dogs need a bathroom break as well. That's why Piper needs attention. So let's take 5 and come back, and you guys tell me which one you want to do first, and we'll go from there.
Cool. Sounds good.
Got it.
Come on, girls. I don't know if anybody else is back, but if you're back, go ahead and press X just so we know when everybody else is. Okay, nobody else is back yet. I'm going to get some water. Oh, no wanderers. I'll run and get some water. All right. We need some CCR up in here. Who will stop the rain?
It sounds like a bit like it's been around here recently. We've had almost a week of rain. One day that it wasn't raining.
Holy cow! Whereabouts do you live, if you don't mind me asking?
Vancouver.
Oh, okay,
So
cool.
It's fairly common this time of year.
Yeah. I heard the West Coast, California, is just getting blasted with rain.
Oh, really? Wow.
Yeah. Which apparently.
Yeah,
oh, go ahead.
we're having unusual amounts even for here. We're very rainy in winter, in autumn and winter, but it's particularly rainy this year. Yeah, had a load of warnings about.
Didn't y'all also get a big what's the word I'm looking for?
Yeah, there was a kind of really hot.
Yeah,
period in the summer.
It was like 100 degrees up there, right?
Yeah, it got to. I'll have to translate it to Fahrenheit, but it got to what? 42, 43 Celsius. Convert that.
Holy yeah, that's hot.
42, 107. Yeah.
Wow. That is truly awful.
And then it that was the highest it got, but it stayed up around 38. So it stayed up around 100 for about a week or two. So it was pretty nasty. And normally meteorologists are really reluctant to say that a particular weather event's kind of connected with climate change. It's so hard to pin weather down to it rather than long-term trends. But this time they said they're pretty confident because they've got better models, and they say it's incredibly unlikely this would happen by itself. It's just vanishingly small probabilities that this would happen without climate change being in effect. So yeah, it's interesting.
Yeah, I heard they're saying the same about the rain in California as well. That essentially, like this type of like the bomb cyclone or whatever, it's big, but normally it's not this big. Is essentially what they were saying. So,
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm back.
Cool. All right, I think that means everybody is back. Okay, so you all got some information from the mayor about another possible thing you could do to help out the town with investigating some sea devils north of town. And then there's also you have specific coordinates for the Reef Claws that are south of town. Those are the two things kind of set before you. I'm going to use GM privilege to kind of move us along a bit. Madden and Rigzin, you come walking out of the village after your conversation with the mayor, and you find Milo and Sabriel not too far out, kind of sitting by the side of the road, trying to light all of this stuff on fire, but it's proving quite difficult with the rain.
I also have an ability. I took a feat called Holy Castigation. Let's see, I'm just reading the chat. I'll drop it in the chat like I do in the other. Nope, I didn't do anything. That's
Just
fine.
me, Ojo. Is it? Do you want to
It's fine.
add Batman at the end of that?
Basically, what's that? Can you click on that now?
Mm-hmm.
Basically, when I can use a healing spell to cast demons, devils, and other evil things as if they were undead. And so, I know it's a stuff and it's not actually demons and stuff. But I thought it might be fun if I used the spell slot to use holy light magic infused with what would be a healing, but instead it could hurt devilish things to destroy this stuff.
Yeah, yeah. So you come out, and Milo is in the middle of just. So you're castigating this. What are you saying, Milo, as you're, castigating these items?
Again, one of the battle cries of Serenites is for the sun and the fury, and I imagine I would just be screaming that at this thing. All the righteousness that I can muster. Just truly believing that I can overcome this wickedness. Just screaming, for the sun and the fury! For the sun and the fury! It's like the power of Christ compels you for a Serenite.
Yeah, and so, eventually you can see holy light envelop these items. Perhaps it's because Saren Ray and Asmodeus themselves are opposed and enemies, and you begin to see it kind of like envelop these items and kind of like burn them away in a holy light, not necessarily fire, but like a holy light, and leaving a small pile of ash afterwards. Whether it be these tomes from Asmodeus, or whether it be like the tapestries or anything like that. I need to go ahead and roll a. I need to roll something here. I'm gonna roll a d20, and on a 20, something's gonna happen. Okay. Next time it will be a 19 to 20, but everything's great.
Oh, snap.
That's not at all ominous.
Everything is great right now. Let me go ahead and I'm going to share with you guys the map of Ravenel Region again. I went ahead and put a grid on it and gave you guys a token. It's kind of small. Go ahead and make it bigger for y'all. On Acisazi, we could kind of go ahead and use that as we navigate the map. You guys are outside on the outskirts. How do you all want to proceed?
I think Milo's feeling confident in the wake of his show of faith, and that we might actually overcome this stuff. So I might even want to stand near the front, kind of scouting, looking for evil, and marching proudly ahead. Not sneaking, just marching with my head held high.
Sure.
Until someone tells him otherwise.
Sabir will reveal to Milo while they're burning the stuff that he is keeping just one seal. Says, once this is all over, if we don't need it, he'll destroy it. It's just that if it might be useful if we have to pretend to send something from the cult at some point. But he's not sort of saving it from destruction, he's just postponing it as it might be useful.
I would want to sense motive on you, but out of Chris might when I hand wave that. You're probably being honest.
Yeah, you. I don't know. Are you being honest, Sabriel? I don't want to speak for you.
I would definitely squint at him keep
Yeah,
the holy symbol.
Sabriel's big honest.
Yeah.
He's as honest as he wants to be with you at the time.
Yeah. Good. You know what? Just in case you really flub it and you totally misunderstand him, roll me a perception check. Okay.
Hey.
Yeah. No, you believe he's being honest. If you
Sure.
rolled a 1, I was going to be like, you think he's lying?
Is that a slight red glint in his eye?
Yeah. You think he's infected?
Shall we kill him?
Should I kill? Wow, that escalated quickly. All right, so yeah, go ahead, guys. How do you want to proceed?
Rigson would say, between the two, since we have just arrived in town, the Reef Claws seems to be something that is corroborated. Multiple fishermen in the tavern yesterday were complaining about it. So taking care of it first would alleviate the problem for them. As for the sea devils, it seems at this point to be just rumors. It may be true, may not be. It might be just a wild chase, but with the Reef Claws, we can definitely make a difference. So why don't we fix that for the town first?
I agree.
Yes, sounds good.
Seems more straightforward. Yeah, sorry.
All right. Your group goes ahead and makes its way west towards the Reef Claws along the coast. Sure enough, according to the merchant that you spoke to, you find a kind of a cove, very one that that he was speaking of. Let me go ahead and get this up here for us. I'm going to go ahead and drop your tokens on the map. Feel free to arrange them however you'd like. I'm just dropping them there. So if you want to clump up or spread out.
Nice water effect.
Yeah, pretty neat. Oh, let me go ahead and turn that off so you guys can move freely. There you go. Okay. So yeah, you make your way out to this coast, and sure enough, you find a bunch of jutting rocks, and it looks pretty dangerous in terms of, like, no boat. It wouldn't be wise for a boat to try and traverse it. And sure enough, you don't see any like wreckage. It seems like people of Acisazi are smarter than that. What you do notice, though, are kind of like ways of these rocks, and you see kind of like some ropes hanging off the sides of these rocks. I don't know if you guys can see my my rulers, but you see ropes kind of hanging off the rocks as people have like nets and different cages, kind of like hanging and dragging into the water. You also see some on the beach. The ones on the beach appear to be like cut, kind of like how you were hearing earlier. The ropes appear to be like sliced in half. At this moment in time, you don't notice any activity. The rain is still going. The kind of like the clouds are still subsisting over Acisazi. How do you all want to proceed?
Can I ask something before we start? Have we are any of us familiar with Reef Claws? Have we heard much about them?
Before we see them, that's not a bad question.
Like, how do they taste?
If anybody would like to, anybody can roll a nature check to recall knowledge about Reef Claws.
Nice.
Oh, that's huge.
I do like seafood.
Okay, so Milo and Sabriel, you both would know some information. Milo, though, I assume, like, it could be, like, you were up all night reading about it, or, you know what? I'm going to say, like, in this moment, because it's a natural 20, you feel, like, the very hand of some holy presence, like, come down upon you, like, in your heart, and you're immediately filled with knowledge about Reef Claws that just wasn't there before. But it seems like it's just like coming to you. So I'm going to give you all of the important stuff. Reef Claws are small aquatic creatures. They let's see here. The claws not only do damage, but they imbue their victims with venom, and they can grab their victims and constrict. All of that does extra damage. Like, you know that when they get somebody in their claws, it is hard to get them out. They just like start pumping venom into their victims and start constricting them with this giant claw. They can, and because of just how they hunt, some of them, if they're hunting near kind of a shallow area like this, you know that they would specifically like grab and pull them into the water in hopes of like not only like pumping their venom but also drowning them as well. You know that a reef claw in its death throes essentially just like strikes out at anything it can hit that's immediately adjacent to it before it dies. They're nasty little creatures.
Mm. And Milo would tell the party about all of these things. Beware of, especially, being pulled in, and if they're, you said, venom poison?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Sabriel said, thank you. Do we know anything, in fact, probably one for Prankster, but do we know anything about their kind of nature? Are they kind of animals? What do we know about their habits? Are they predators? Are they intelligent? Trying to just assess their motivations before we start.
Let's see here. Reef Claws are... They... you would know that they are essentially like carnivores, bottom feeders, like most kind of shellfish fish. They'll try and grab things and pull them in. You'd also know that they can understand Common, although they can't speak it. You'd also know that they're not the smartest things. I mean, they're just animals, but they're smarter than the average bear.
Oh, okay. Cool. Good to know. Thanks.
You're welcome. As you look out onto the shoreline, you currently don't see any reef claws, but you do see like the severed ropes from what appeared to be, and maybe you kind of like see like fish heads floating in the area. How do you all want to proceed?
Milo would ask, does anyone have fish or any kind of bait? Perhaps we could search these traps for fish to lure them.
Or we could just run up and touch the water and run away.
After you.
Sabriel's kind of staring at the ropes as if he could just by brute force of just will kind of come up with a strategy. And he frowns and he says, well, it's interesting. They seem to be more concerned with disrupting the fishing than catching the fishermen. If they are a little more intelligent than average animals, then I don't know, perhaps they're not smart enough to understand that, but cutting the ropes, perhaps they're trying to preserve their own food supply.
That they get them their free meal.
I don't know. Yeah, maybe. Maybe they were just stealing the catch. That would make sense. I guess they'd cut the ropes and they've been taking the traps.
Are you going up to the shoreline?
Do we Yeah, they've been taking traps or just breaking stuff. If they, you don't want to say, oh, they've been stealing my catch or anything like that.
I mean, yeah, you've heard that essentially, kind of like reading in between the lines, it seems like the Reef Claws are stealing the food that that are kind of in the nets.
Right. Okay, that makes sense.
They're essentially using it like as an easy meal. Like,
Yeah.
they've learned that these nets catch things, they come on up, they eat what's in it, destroy the nets, and leave. Rinse and repeat.
Got it. Okay, that makes sense. Sabriel will shrug and say, well, if you want to take the risk, Madden, then go ahead. We can try and cover you. But you could get dragged in. It's the worry.
Well,
Are there any rocks or anything on this beach? Maybe we can, Madden, if there are some rocks, maybe we can disturb the water.
well, I'm sure there's rocks, but do we have to get it close enough to be looking like we're might be an easy meal for them to have? I
Yup.
don't want to follow them in the water.
Go ahead, everybody, and roll me a survival check really quick. And you can roll it untrained. Okay, Madden. You would know, just like coming in here, you see clearly that there are footsteps kind of like going up and down the beach. You would assume that it looks like that the elves have come and reset these traps several times based on the amount of foot traffic.
Well, if you see, there's recent signs of people coming down to the traps and coming back. I don't think they're hunting them. So maybe we do need a lure.
Is there a path? I mean, I see there are bridges up there to the north. Milo kind of wants to explore these rocks to the east, this path, this direction. Is it like super slippery and dangerous or hard to climb? Or is it fairly common path?
I mean, the bridges are there, so it appears that the half elves, the Acisazians, are clearly using the bridges. With that said, it is also raining. You're more than welcome to traverse the terrain, my friend.
It sounds like, you know what, like you didn't have that in mind. Like, ooh.
No, you can absolutely climb up the slippery rocks. And
I'm thinking that also
try and jump across the gorge.
Milo's not a swimmer, so Milo's not going to want to like be hovering over the water if he can avoid it.
Yeah.
I was just curious.
That's
Yeah,
fine.
that sounded to me like you can certainly try.
Absolutely.
Tie a rope to yourself, we could dangle you. Mission.
Come, Madden, let us go closer to the water, see what is what.
But Milo did relay that they do understand common language, right?
Yes.
So maybe a negotiation.
Yes, use your silver tongue.
Well, I got something I could use, but it ain't a tongue and it ain't silver. Alright, so they're gonna go forward, I guess, huh?
Yeah, just stick with me, stick by me, right by me.
I just love watching the little tokens move. It makes me think, like, what's going through their brains? Yeah, so you guys... Oh, go ahead.
Hey, I have a question. If I close these pop-outs, how do I get them back?
Great question. So there's a couple of options. One is you can just ask me, and I can bring something back for you. So if you're looking for the map, you accidentally closed it, I can bring it back up for you. Another option you have is if you actually go to the images button on the right-hand side, you'll have any image that I have shared with you thus far will be available in that area. You'll notice that they're in a bunch of different folders. just helps me to keep things organized that way.
Oh, okay, cool.
You can also right click and minimize.
Mm-hmm.
That way you don't have to close them. You can just shorten them up and move them around.
Yeah, I think when I do the right click and minimize, sometimes I end up hitting the X button and ends up closing it. So that's what happened a couple of times.
Yeah,
Gotcha.
it is right next to it.
So you make your way towards the shoreline, and you really don't see a lot of activity. It looks like whatever is drawing them here, it's worked multiple times. So whether it just be fish or line or anything like that, how do you guys want to proceed?
Madden would ask, Rigson, do you happen to have a net?
Let me see.
I have rope, but not a net.
No, I do not have a net, but I do have a grappling hook. Maybe we could tie it and throw it into the water.
Yeah, that might work. I don't have the grappling hook, so we could tie it on and throw it in and put it back like we're fishing.
Yes.
Maybe we'll get lucky and hook onto one of them.
Let's try that.
Great. So you are, just so I'm clear, you're throwing the grappling hook into the water?
Yep.
Okay.
Well, tied to a rope.
Gotcha.
Yep.
You're tying the grappling hook to a
50-foot rope.
to a 50-foot rope, and you're essentially throwing it out there. You're just throwing that out there?
We're gonna bring it back in as well, like we're trying to hook.
Sure. All right, Madden, why don't you go ahead and roll me an athletics check? That'll be fun.
It will be, I'm sure.
I'm certain you'll roll great.
I apologize to those behind me.
My eye!
I was about to say, yeah.
Oh, it was on the 20. Did you guys
So
see
close.
that too? That's one of the fun part of the virtual dice. Yeah, so I mean, you're not doing anything too difficult. You get it on the rope. You start swinging it in your hand, and you. Oh, actually, you're supposed to roll athletics, which is a +7, so you get an additional
I
3.
rolled acrobatics. Yeah.
Yeah, no worries. So that'd be a 15. So yeah, you roll it and you get it out there a good amount of ways, and you begin feeling kind of like you've been fishing. I can only assume you've been fishing.
Yep.
Yeah, right. And so you begin to kind of like feel that like vibrations through the rope. You don't feel like anything is hooked, but you feel like something is investigating it.
Yeah, we're definitely snake fishing, so if I feel something, I'm gonna yank on it.
Okay, so you just like pull it the moment you feel the vibrations?
Not as it's just touching. He wants to feel more going on with it.
Okay.
Although I'm not sure how much he'd be able to feel with it sitting, like 'cause it's not floating. So
That's true. Eventually you feel something almost like pulling at it.
yeah, we're bringing it back up. He'll look over at Rigson. I got something on the line. Help me pull it.
Very well. And Rigson would help Madden pull the rope.
Okay, so you begin to pull the rope, and it begins to come out, and you see a reef claw begin to come out of the water that is on the grappling hook. Let's go ahead and roll for initiative, y'all. A little bit of lightning. And a little bit of fun combat music.
Lois goes first, right?
Wait, no, that is perception. No, how do I do?
So
it is the same.
Yeah, perception is your initiative.
Okay.
It will specifically say init perception and reflect on the combat check, or if you did it correctly. Just a reminder, if you don't have it open, you can open up the combat tracker in the top right-hand corner of Fantasy Grounds. It is the 2 swords that are crossing.
There it is.
Okay. All right, y'all. Let's go ahead and do this. It is round 1. Rigzin, you are the first one to act, and you see this thing being pulled out. Madden is just like pulling it out, and you see that it is kind of like tangled up in the rope, and it has been looks like the hook kind of got it a little bit.
Excellent. So Rigzin is going to. He's going to drop the rope, raise his shield, and pull out his sword, and just move a little closer for now. That's the stuff he's going to do.
Okay, so that's 3 actions. Draw your sword, draw your shield, and you're going to move a little bit closer. So feel free to move up to, I think 25 feet is your square, so you can move up to 5 squares. And you don't have to move the full complement. You can move however much you want.
Yeah, that should be good.
Okay, cool. All right, it is this thing, and it first thing it's going to go ahead and do is you see it kind of like breach. It begins to kind of like try and shake out of its out of like the tangle. I'm going to go ahead and turn this music down just a little bit on my end because it's kind of loud. So I'm going to go ahead and roll that. Okay, so yeah, it is able to kind of like break free from the rope, and it kind of goes as it sees you, and just immediately comes towards you and is going to take 1 swing at you, Rigzin. I want to remind everybody about the targeting, how you press down left control and left click when your token is selected, and that will allow you to attack. Rigzin, that is a 13, and so you definitely jump out of the way as it kind of like snaps with its claw, but it's not able to seal the deal.
Okay, my shield is raised in one hand and my long sword's in the other, so it just kind of bites at the shield, and the shield is just holding it at bay. Okay.
At that moment, another Reef Claw appears, and it immediately just like kind of screeches and moves towards Rigzin. Milo, you are up.
All right. This is trying to see how all my. It's weird with these extra actions. I got to figure out how to make the most of my action economy. But Milo will just be super excited that we see bad guys he gets to kill. There's no moral ambiguity. These are monsters trying to kill his friends. So he will just grasp his holy symbol, hold it out, and I forgot my own. For the sun and the fury is what I say.
There you go.
and he holds it out and he just screams that, and the bolt of light goes from his holy symbol to this thing as he casts divine lance. Critical miss.
Yeah.
Use that hero point, bud.
That's fair. That's fair. I think I might use that hero point.
If you'd like to, you're more than welcome to.
Thanks for. Although fails are so fun. No, that's
Oh!
I told you fails are fun.
All right, I gotta. Go ahead, Milo. Go ahead and roll me a D100. Do you know how to do that?
Yeah, I do.
Awesome.
Ooh, does that count? I think I missed it.
If it's not in the box, it doesn't count.
Yeah, it came out of the box. Let me try that again. Oops, those are all D10s.
Okay, 41. I got a little table here that I created to help me do.
Crit fails.
Yeah, just because it's fun. Oh, there we go. Okay, cool. All right. So this is a magic one though. So
It is.
you like you.
Sorry, Madden.
I picture you kind of like almost like Zeus, like you, this bolt of like lightning energy like appears in your hand, and you're getting ready to throw it, and you almost get like a feedback, like as you toss out your hand, like there's a small like boom in your hand, and it just knocks you on your ass, and you fall prone as a result.
Oh. All right.
So I'm gonna go ahead and let's do boop. You're prone.
Oh, thanks. I was looking for that.
Yeah. Okay, so you have one action left.
I'll stand for prone. Is that okay?
That's fine. Yeah. All right, so that's your third
great.
action. You stand up.
Yeah.
So you see Milo like embarrass himself. He's got sand and wetness just all over him. Sabriel, you are up.
Sabriel raises an eyebrow just slightly at Milo, and he is going to. How far can I move?
You can move, I believe, 5
Okay.
squares. 5 feet per square, and I think your movement's 25, so you can move 5 squares.
Great. I'm going to move up next to Madden. I'm going to cast magic weapon and whatever weapon he's got. What's he got? An axe, sword?
On Madden,
Great sword.
greatsword.
Sword. Yeah. Yeah. So as you're drawing your sword, Sabriel walks up behind you and touches the crossguard of your sword, and it glows briefly. It's now a magic weapon and has +1 to hit, and you get 2 damage dice rather than 1.
Okay. Sabriel, good turn. Reef Claw.
No, Madden.
A
one
reef
Reef
claw
Claw.
appears from the water, and it like screeches because its friends have been all entangled, and begins to make its way over to y'all. That is its turn. Madden, you are up.
Madden, unsure if they're going to try to talk to the creatures and not, just sees them start attacking. Sees Sabriel come up and make his sword all nice and shiny with some magical energy there. He's going to just run into the fray.
Okay, 2 more actions.
And then he'll go ahead and take a swing at the one in front of him.
Sure. So really quick, are just so I'm on the same page, and I know we're all new to this, are you raging or no?
Negative.
Okay.
I don't, I'm saving that just in case.
Sure. All right, you got you can attack up twice. Go ahead and press the +7 next to your greatsword after you've targeted your enemy. Hold down left control and then left click on your target. There you go. Okay, that is actually a 13 with magic weapon, but it still misses as the reef claw kind of like jumps to the side.
All right. We'll go ahead and give it another poke.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm rolling.
Yeah, that is a critical miss. Go ahead and roll me a D100, my friend.
We're gonna go ahead and hero point it.
Okay, go for it. Yeah, makes sense.
Crit fail.
Oh, okay. That second attack is a hit on that guy. Go ahead and roll me damage, and then you get to add in another D12 on top of it. Okay, go ahead and give me another d12. Okay, so that is a total of 16 points of damage to this thing. This thing is just like clear. It's like bleeding ichor from everywhere. It does not look like it's in good shape. In fact, it looks like it's in very poor shape. Okay, it is good job, Madden. It is top of round 2. Rigzin, you are up.
Okay, so Rigzin is going to target Reef Claw 1. Okay, and then how do I roll my attack?
Go to the Actions tab on your character sheet, and where it says your longsword attack, go ahead and click on the +7. Okay, yeah, so you swing and miss on this thing.
And I'm going to do a second attack.
Okay,
This time take it from the +2, right?
Mm-hmm. Oh, unfortunately, that is a miss.
Okay.
Now you can attack a third time if you'd like, but that'll be at a minus.
No, that's it.
Okay. All right. So Rigzin, you are this. This is a miss. Oh Lord. Okay. It is Reef Claw 2's up. He goes ahead and looks at Rigzin, and he's going to attempt to attack you. That is a 25 to hit Rigzin. So that is going to hit. Rigzin, I need you to roll me. So you are dealt 3 points of damage. A gentleman's 3, slashing. This thing also is going to attempt to poison you. So I need you to roll me a fortitude save.
Okay, where would that be?
If you go to your character sheet, it'll be on the main tab, and it will be on the near the bottom right corner.
Yes.
Okay, you are good. All right, this thing. I just want to make certain. Okay, all right. So this thing grabs you. Just says automatically grabs. There's no roll or anything about it. So I'm going to go ahead and apply that condition to your character. So you are currently grabbed, Rigzin. Let me double check to make certain it's there. It is not. I'll figure that out in a second. It is this other Reef Claw's turn. He is actually that was the Reef Claw's. He has multiple attacks. He's going to attempt to get you again, Rigzin. Granted, it will be at a decrease. It'll only be at a +4 this attack. That is a 9. What's your AC?
16.
Okay, so that's just a miss. And what does it know? It's a dumb creature. It's going to go ahead and attack you again because it's mad. That's not going to hit, though, because that is
Sorry,
at a
my
minus...
AC is 18 because the shield is raised. Sorry, 18. But yeah, that's still a miss.
Got you.
The second one, the third one is a hit? 22?
No, the third one is actually at a -10, so it'd only be a 12. So just like slash, slash, slash. To get those other 2 attacks, though, it had to drop because it only has 1 giant claw. So you're no longer grabbed. That was its turn. Reef Claw number 1 is up. It is very angry at Madden for cutting him up. And so he's going to go slashes out with its claw on Madden. It's going to be a 25 to hit Madden. Ooh, that's going to hit for 7 points of damage. Madden, I need you to roll me a fortitude save.
Jeez.
Fortitude. There it is.
Okay, that unfortunately is a fail. You start to feel a little bit faint from the venom that is pulsing through your system. Right now, the first thing that happens is you just take some additional damage and you get a chance to save against it on your turn. But the first stage is you just feel enfeebled, and you take a little bit of extra poison damage. Just 1 point of poison damage as it begins to work through your system, Madden. Milo.
I have a
wait.
question.
Go ahead.
I have something called Retributive Strike because it hit Madden.
Mm-hmm.
It reads, you protect your ally and strike your foe. This is only upon damage, which it just did. The ally gains resistance to all damage against the triggering damage equal to 2 plus my level, so 3, I'm assuming. And if the foes within reach make a melee strike against it.
Yeah. So all of that happens. So resistance means that he doesn't take all of that damage. Madden, let's go ahead and give you a few hit points back. It looks like 3 hit points, according to the rules as reading. And on top of that, you get a free melee strike against the target that hit him, Rickson. Go ahead.
So would that be the +7?
That would be the +7.
Which was the target? Reef Claw 2, correct?
The one that attacked him was Reef Claw 1.
Reef Claw 1, okay. Let me just make that, okay. And the +7.
Oh, it was on that 14. Yeah, you swing down and you miss, unfortunately. But you did kind of like get the thing like on its claws, and actually on that it's going to change its target from Madden to you, Rickson, because it's mad that you tried to hit it. Granted, it is at a -5. That is a 13, so that is actually a miss. As it swings and you rebuff it with your shield, just like pushing him away. Second one is, that's going to be a crit fail. Oh, wait. That's an 8. You're at an 18. That is a crit fail. Yes. So, yeah, let me go ahead and roll a D100 for this guy that is took his last 2 attacks on you. That's a 64. All right, so essentially here's what happens. He like reaches out for Rickson in Madden. In that moment, you're really pissed off. You see an attack of opportunity as a result. Go ahead. It just leaves itself open. Go ahead and roll at your highest bonus. This will be your reaction for this round.
Nice. Another free attack. Oh, so was that crit.
So actually that was, I'm sorry, that was Madden's attack of opportunity.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, go ahead.
But Madden, if you want, you can choose to accept that roll if you want, as if he rolled for you. It's up to you.
We'll take it.
Okay. All right.
do. Yeah.
Madden, go ahead and roll me damage on this thing.
It's a D8. Yeah, go ahead and roll, Madden. D12. Oh, nice.
Yeah, and an extra D12. But honestly...
Yeah, extra D12 for magic weapon.
Definitely need those extra D12s this time around.
Yes. Okay, so you deal 15 points of damage. Madden, how does it look as you... Okay, so a couple things happen. Madden, you slash this thing and you kill it. How does it look from your perspective?
So imagine seeing Rickson kind of step in and save him from taking some horrendous damage from the claw. Sees the Reef Claw turn and look at Rickson and get strike at it. Seeing that's one, he left an opening, and 2, he's angry now because it dared to attack him and attack his ally close to him. Goes in and it just kind of like takes his broadsword, his great sword up over his head and brings it down point first, right between the eyes there.
Okay, as you bring it down in between its eyes, you see that it like twitches and it just like lashes out with everything that it has as it enters into a death frenzy. I'm gonna go ahead and it's not gonna target Rickson for this. It's gonna target Madden. So it's just gonna, all it takes is a 1 free attack at its highest bonus as it dies on Madden. It was on a 2 and it rolled to an 18. That is a 27. That is a critical attack. Okay, it's not going to get a free grab. It only does 4 points of damage to Madden, luckily. But I'm going to need Madden to make me another fortitude save to see if this poison renews and gets worse. Okay, the poison gets a little bit worse, my friend.
Dang.
You get what is called enfeebled 2. And essentially what that means is you'll take like a -2 to all of your attacks, skill checks, until you get some time to rest and get this poison out of your system. But you killed it. It is dead. Milo, you are up.
Milo is concerned about Madden. I imagine you visibly like weakened by this venom going through him, but sometimes the best defense is good offense. So he will try another divine lance. He's standing. He's all sandy and gross, but he's going to attempt to throw one of these lances at the number 3 here. He doesn't say anything. This time he just throws it.
Sure.
Oh,
Okay.
man.
You know, the virtual dice are a blessing and a curse, because you
They
look
really
at
are.
it and you're like,
Yeah.
damn it.
They're really busting our balls today.
So yeah, your divine last just passes by the Reef Claw.
At least not critically.
You have 1 action left. Are you there, Brandon? Bees?
I was hitting the wrong button. I apologize. I cast guidance on Madden to help him with a save or a throw or whatever he needs it for.
Got you.
Yeah.
All right, +1 to his saves. All right, Sabriel, you are up. You just saw Madden kill this thing and then turn to a death frenzy. What do you do?
Yeah. I presume both the other remaining Reef Claws look fairly healthy.
Yeah, you notice that the one that Rigzin is immediately adjacent to looks a little dented up. You presume it was from the grappling hook. But other than that, they look pretty... That one looks pretty close to healthy, and the other one looks untouched.
Okay, I'm going to cast Sleep just behind the Reef Claw that's a bit further away from them. So just in the square to the seaward side of it. It's a 5-foot burst.
Oh,
So it gets a will save.
okay. So a 5-foot burst. So what that means is that until they get a little bit closer together, it will only affect 1.
Yeah, that's fine. I think by the look of it, actually in Pathfinder 2e, it's got a good chance of waking up, but it might keep it out of it for a round.
And you're doing it to the one
Right.
that's farther away, correct?
That's right. Yeah, I don't want it to affect my friends. So
Okay, let me go ahead and roll for that guy. Will save. Here comes. That is a 12. And what is the save? 14?
it doesn't say. It just says save and throw will. I don't know where I'd see what my.
I usually the rule is 10 plus your ability score modifier plus the level of the spell, so that would make the DC 15. Yeah, this thing falls like let's see here, success. Is that a critic? Oh no, it's a failure. The creature falls unconscious if it's So yeah, like this thing that's running at you guys just boom falls over, super sleepy. And is over there, just asleep. Sabriel effectively took it out of this combat.
And now Sabriel's gonna back off to here.
Okay. It is Reef Claw 3's turn. That is the one who's asleep, and he is just going to stay that way. Madden, you are up. Go ahead and roll me a Fortitude save, first thing.
Alright, Fortitude it is. Let's see how much more goes. Hey.
Okay. Whatever. So the venom is no longer in your system. You do still take the enfeebled condition until you are able to clear that. I'm going to look up a little bit more on that. But but you still have your full turn complement. What would you like to do?
He's gonna lash out like an angry teenager here.
Don't we all?
Go for. Now, which one's asleep? Is it the distant one?
The distant one is asleep. You would know that you can effectively do something called a coup de grace on something that is unable to fight back, essentially dealing an automatic crit to it. Just so you are aware that that's an option that you have. You also know that there's this thing right in front of you that's attacking.
Yeah, it's not engaged with me. Now, I may not remember correctly. There's no attack opportunity unless he's got that, right? So I could be able to walk away if he doesn't have it.
That is correct. If a creature or a human or anything does not have the ability to make an attack of opportunity, then not everybody just gets it.
Gotcha. So he, seeing the one kind of lay there, he's definitely going to go ahead and move over one, knowing that we got to eliminate some more of these things from the battle.
Sure. Okay, so we just skip the attack roll, and you're because you have magic weapon, and this is a crit, you get to roll 4d12.
Don't screw it up.
Sabriel's Christmas present to Madden.
Yeah, right? Okay, so, Madden, this thing just, like, falls unconscious, and, go ahead and, roll me, to describe how he does the kill.
Yeah, as he approaches it, he kind of is a little weary of it, kind of feeling a little tired and everything, and he sees it doesn't move away from or come at him, so he assumes it is safe to quickly dispatch it the same way he dispatched the one in front of him. As he plunges his sword into it, and he puts his foot on the back of it and pulls it back up and turns his attention back to the one remaining.
All right. As you plunge your sword into this thing, in its death throes, it thrashes out and gets a free attack from its Death Frenzy ability. Let me go ahead and make that attack. There we go. That is going to be a 21 to hit, so that will hit you. Not for a ton of... Oh, actually, for 6 points of damage. Madden, you take another good gash. Madden, I also am going to need you to roll me a fortitude save to see if you get repoisoned.
Ah, good lord. Hey.
Hey, yeah, whatever this thing tries to seep into you, like, you pull your hand out of the way just in time before any of that gets into you, and you are safe from being further poisoned. It is dead, Madden. You have one action left.
Alright, well, he's just gonna move. He's actually gonna move behind the next one so they can flank it.
Yeah, and that will give each of you a +2 to attack. Remember that on your hit. All right, round 3. Rigzin, you are up. Is X, if you're talking,
Yeah.
you might be muted. Oh, okay, you're good.
Yeah, I was muted. Yeah, so I targeted the thing. Hold on. Where's the plus? 19.
Let me double check here. A 19. Unfortunately, that is just a miss by 1.
Is that with the extra?
That
was +2 extra, yeah.
Yeah. And actually, it doesn't really matter, but I guess it makes the target flat-footed, which gives them a -2 to their AC. The math all equals out, so anyway, go ahead. You have 2 actions left.
18. That's a miss size also.
That is a hit.
Huh? How is this a hit?
Oh, I'm sorry. I was my apologies. No, you're correct. That is a miss.
Yeah, it's a miss.
I did my math wrong.
And he's too far away. Yeah, that's my turn.
Okay, that is your turn. It is this guy's turn. He realizes that he is flanked. Or does he? Because he's a dumb old creature. He just knows that Rixon's attacking him, so he's going to attack back. Here comes the claw, Rixon. That is a natural 20. That is a critical hit. Going to go ahead and... You know what? Let me read something. So, food for thought. And I could be reading this wrong, but as far as I understand it, it says to re-roll a check and use the second result. It doesn't specify that it has to be on your turn.
For what?
For using a hero point. So hypothetically, what I'm trying to say is
You can impose disadvantage on him.
you could get him to roll a die, or you can have one of your friends. Like, you can use hero points to have your friends re-roll something, or your enemies re-roll something as well. That's how I'm reading it.
Oh, okay. Then yeah, I would use my last hero point to force the Reef Claw to re-roll it.
Sure. All right. And you said your AC is an 18 with your shield up, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So then that'll actually be a miss. It hits a 17. So it went from a crit to a miss. It's still going to attack you, though, with his second attack. That is going to be at a -5, though. But I still rolled pretty high for a 21. That is going to hit. Man, I'm rolling rocks. It did too much damage. It was carrying that crit over. So it should only be... I need to get rid of 7 points of damage on you, Rixon. So that'll bring you down to 9. Okay. It's a dumb old creature. It's going to go out for a third attack on you, Rixon. My gosh, 18.
Jeez.
-10, though. That is a 17. So that is a miss. A picture of Rixon's shields out in front of him, right? Just blocking. What I do need you to do is roll me a fortitude save from that previous attack, though, as it did hit you. So it might get you might get poisoned. That is a fail, Rixon. You begin to feel a little bit weak from this thing's poison seeping its way through your system. It also only does 5 points of poison damage, not 10. But yeah, you're certainly feeling beat up and a little bit weak. Milo, you are up.
Milo will throw another glance. Oh, yeah.
Okay, go ahead and roll damage on that divine. Or actually, roll me a D100 first.
Oh, all right. Sorry, I got excited.
That's okay. Okay, so your divine lance just like impales this thing in the chest and just knocks it prone right in front of you. Like your blast from Siren Ray just like boom sends it with a big old beating. So it's going to be 13. Okay, and it is prone, which means it takes a -4 to melee attacks.
Excellent. And one more.
Or its AC takes a -4.
Oops. Sorry, I had to target Rigzin for the next guidance, and I'll just say the light of Siren be with you, so that he will get a +1 to his next save or attack roll, whatever he needs.
Okay. Sabriel, you are up.
Okay, I am going to cast Magic Missile with 3 actions. And that should be 3d4 plus 3 damage. No need for an attack roll.
Okay, 3d4.
Let me just remind myself. 3 times. Okay, 8 to 11.
All right,
11
so
damage.
3 magic missiles come out, just thump this thing right in the chest. Describe your kill.
Yeah, so these missiles, they go unerringly straight towards it, and then they all kind of split and veer around Rigzin, one to the left, one to the right, one straight over its head, and then plunge into this creature. Much as they appear to be kind of insubstantial things, they raise very real wounds when they hit, and there's a gout of blood as they hit, and it shudders and stops moving.
Thoop, thoop, thoop. And just before it stops moving, it thrashes out in a death frenzy. I'm gonna roll a d20, and I'm gonna let you choose, Sim. Would you like odds to protect you, or would you like evens to protect you?
I mean, evens.
Evens protect Sim. Here we go. I rolled a 6, which means the death frenzy will be on Rixen. All right, Rixen, it thrashes out at you with its claw for 15. So you knock the claw away as it shudders finally and falls to the ground, dead.
Gabriel lets out a big sigh and kind of puts his hand on his forehead. That was rough. And he starts walking forward to see if everyone's okay. And
Yeah.
says, Milo, I think they might need your attention.
They already have it. Milo would ask Rigson to hold tight. And they're both pretty messed up, but would first attempt a medicine check. I actually have a healer's kit.
Sure. So,
forgive me, I've never done this before. There's a medicine check to treat poison would be the first thing I would try to do. So I would make flavor-wise, he's like pulling out some like herbs and like rubbing it into the saying hold still, and but I need to roll for a medicine check. Not sure what the DC is.
I have it right here. Go ahead and just roll it.
Great. This is to treat poison.
Yeah, Madden's leaning on his sword. Something he doesn't usually do often. While he's preparing the medicine, he looks over at Rigson. Are you alright?
I have seen better days. And Rigson, finally the shield is still raised, and he kind of lets it down and lets it sink into the sand. And he's like resting against his shield. He takes his sword and does a flourish and a flick to get the ichor off it, and then he kind of sheathes it back. They are strong beings. No wonder they cause these fishermen so much grief.
Yes, they're stronger than I expected. But is that the rest of them? Are they going to still have problems here?
Just hold still. I'm trying to treat your wounds.
So, just so we're on the same page, treat poison, essentially how it works is if there's any poison in a player's system, on a successful medicine check, it gives the player an additional +4 on their next saving throw to resist the poison.
Well, that's a crit success.
Yeah. Well, it's not a crit success, but it is a success.
Right, so a success is +2, I think, to the
Oh,
next
yeah,
saving throw.
you're correct. My apologies. So actually, Rigson, it does say that you have Reef Claw Venom. Go ahead and roll me your Fortitude save, and we'll see if you get a +2 to it.
Sorry, I was targeting Madden, for the record, because he still had the poison, right? Because I was just looking at them.
Madden actually does not have the poison.
Oh, well, then
in
I
his-
would have given it to Rigson. Apologies, I was looking at the
Yeah, that's fine.
wrong thing.
Go ahead and roll
Apologies.
me a Fortitude save, Rigson, with a +2. Okay, yeah. You kick that poison out of your system. Both of you are still, you get this enfeebled thing. You get a bit woozy, but you essentially kick it out of your system. You are good. You can also treat wounds. You essentially spend 10 minutes treating one injured creature, and the medicine check is a DC 15. And what it will do is it will give your friends 2d8 hit points back if you are successful.
if I spend 10 minutes on each of them. I'd rather just use magic. I got this
Sure.
divine font. I get 3 free heals per day essentially. So what I will do is I will just stand back and use my 30-foot cone to do a 3 action heal, something like that.
I believe so. Let me go ahead and take a look at your character sheet. Excuse me, guys.
So while he's doing that,
Why did I roll a save? That was not what I meant to do.
ooh,
Did not mean to do that. Apologies. Half damage to my heal. Okay, let me double check this.
So yeah, you spend 3 actions to essentially give each of them 1d8 hit points back. So
Right.
Milo, go ahead and roll me 1d8, and we'll make it for both of them because they're both receiving
sure.
the same whatever that comes from you.
Sure. It's just 1d8. I'll just.
Actually,
Or no, it's 1d. It's 1d10 with my
You-
extra.
You
Yeah.
are correct. You are correct. 1d10 plus 8, actually.
Oh, do I get the +8 for the 3 action healing?
Oh,
I'm
it says
sure.
heightened. So you have
Okay,
to.
yeah, I think it's just 7 for the 3 action.
Okay.
heal.
Yes. So each
area
of
of
you
effect
gets
heal.
7 back.
Heal to both of them. I apologize. I didn't target them both.
It's okay. Rigson is back up. Madden is still a little bit hurt, but both of them look a lot better.
He's still down. I'm sorry, I can see. He's still down a good bit. So I'll go ahead and spend another 2 actions to cast heal again. That'll be 1d10 plus 8. So
Okay.
make sure I get him up. Yeah.
Yeah, Madden, you're totally healed from the battle. You feel a lot better. You see that these Reef Claws are before you. By the way, I named that encounter Reefer Claw Madness.
Nice.
Hey.
Thank you. I was really proud of that, and I couldn't share it with anybody because it was only on my side of things. And I realized it feels kind of pathetic to laugh at my own joke, so I needed somebody else to laugh.
Never.
All right, so you have these dead Reefer Claws in front of you. You guys are all healed up. You just as a reminder, they did say that they wanted their claws as proof of the kills.
Yeah, I think we might harvest even more than that if it looks like eating. But yeah, I think I would. Milo would want to save the meat. Also, it's just a way to kind of honor them, not let the food go to waste.
Sure. So yeah, you would be more than able to gather the claws together, or all of the Reefer Claws, and drag them back if you so desired.
Yes, we desire.
Okay. The rain's still pouring down, but you really feel like you made this safe, this fishing location, this area better for the village. I'll even say you hung around for maybe another hour doing the grappling hook thing over and over again, just to make certain that they were cleared out, and you feel pretty confident that it was just this little squad of Reef Claws that were giving such hell. You begin to make your way back towards Acisazi on the map, just trying to get home. Final thoughts. What's going through everybody's heads as you are making your way back to town? And we'll go ahead and end on that.
Madden, having eaten plenty of reefer claw in the pits, is kind of salivating because it's kind of nostalgic. He's looking forward to roasting it with some spices.
Yeah, Sabriel's kind of thoughtful. He doesn't feel he did enough. I think he actually did reasonably well, but he doesn't. He's running through all the more powerful spells that could have prevented his friends getting hurt if only he were powerful enough to cast them. And kind of critiquing himself. Where did he go? What did he do first? Did he do the wrong things? It's better. What can he learn from this? So all the way back, he's kind of muttering to himself and kind kind of evaluating different strategies, and overall just seems, yeah, he's been pretty hard on himself, but it's not necessarily that obvious because he's muttering it.
We just think he's a little weird, always muttering to himself.
You're not wrong.
Don't realize he's beating himself up. Milo's fairly proud of himself, although he was really looking forward to killing a devil today. He feels pretty good with this. You need to rest anyway. So, got to use his medicine. He's very proud of himself for healing. Serenray would be proud.
Rigzin, is helping drag the Reef Claws back to the village, and he actually has a smile on his face for once. He feels he has done a good day's work. Helping people who couldn't help themselves resolve their problems. He looks up to the sky and makes a gesture to his heart, and then touches his sword. And then brings his hands to his lips and mutters a quiet prayer under his breath, and looks forward to some rest and recuperation at the end of the day.
So yeah, you guys begin walking this well-worn trail that the half-elves have clearly made back to Acisazi, feeling pretty proud at the kills that you have made today. We'll go ahead and end there for this evening, and thank you guys.
Thank you.
You're very welcome.
XP before we leave, because I know we're supposed to be tracking that.
Yes. So my plan is, because, and this is just my opinion, if you guys feel otherwise, please feel free to tell me. But my opinion is that level 1 sucks. So my plan is to give you guys a little bit of XP, not going by how Pathfinder would normally hand out XP. So another 350 experience points. Because you guys are getting it. So 350 experience points. Plan on leveling up after next session. So if there is things that you're interested in, go ahead and begin looking at those.
Cool.
Right.
Wasn't there somewhere to put XP? I can't find it on the character sheet.
Me neither.
No.
Yeah.
I know there was. Oh, notes.
Yeah, there's not a track around here. I think we were talking about that.
Oh, I put it under character notes. That's what happened. Yep. Under character notes.
Yeah. Go ahead and keep it under character notes. So I'll explain it later, but that's where we'll keep it for the time being. All right, guys. Solid. I'm gonna go ahead and we'll talk.
Sorry.
I'll go ahead.
I was just gonna say before you kick us off fantasy grounds, how much more XP did you say again?
Everybody should have 685 in total.
Thank you.
Yeah. All right, guys.